Welcome to the Unbeaten World Cup Show. It's semi-time. We have a very sexy show for you today. James and Jonathan, welcome. We'll be hearing more about that a little bit later on, but we're going to start off with some football. We'll do that business a bit later on. We're going to recap the quarters. James has already lost. Huge weekend of action. But before we get to those semis, let's talk about quarterfinals. France 2, Morocco 0. Spain 1, Portugal 0. England 2-1 over Norway after extra time. Also extra time in the final game as Argentina beat Switzerland 3-1. So we know our final four. Gentlemen, it was a very exciting weekend. Jonathan, what's your big takeout from there? Why don't we start off, have a look back at all those many hours ago, France defeating Morocco. Still favourites in your eyes?
I think they've only enhanced their status as favourites. I think at the start of the World Cup, there was, for me, France, Spain and Argentina, a gap, and then a second tier of nations, of which England were one of them. And I think France have just been head and shoulders the best team all tournament. They were fantastic again in the quarters. Spain, I thought, showed really good versatility. Plan A wasn't working, but they were able to bring Nico Williams off the bench, put Mikel Merino up front. So they went from that kind of close passing in front of the defence into those long diagonals and create a plan B, which I thought was great. England, I'm sure we will talk a bit more on. The cable of God came to the rescue. God,
yes.
And Argentina continued their tournament of just winding everyone up and somehow getting through.
Elite wind-up merchants with from Argentina there, but no goal for Messi on this occasion. James, let's start off with that cable of God. It's such a big talking point. We've got a all-English panel today. Presumably, are we going to be very defensive about it and say that obviously there was no cable incident, as FIFA have?
It's not an English opinion. FIFA have declared there was no cable incident. The snickometer that can detect a strand of hair felt nothing. There's nothing there, so it therefore didn't happen. It was merely ocular refraction occurring through the smog of Miami. That makes it look like it moved off course, clearly.
Excellent. Well, I'm convinced.
We trust in FIFA.
I'm convinced. Yes, except it very much did hit a cable, didn't it? But I put it to you that at the moment that it hit a cable, there was still, he was picked up by Elliot Anderson on the left wing, and there were still 7 Norwegians between him and the goal. It was still an extraordinarily brilliant bit of football to create a goal in that scenario, and it arguably didn't have an impact on the score. Slightly controversial. Yeah. We don't have any counterfactual.
Where it lands isn't where it was going, and that's enough to throw things off in terms of me thinking, you know, what that Norway defence is doing and where they're positioned.
There is a law for it. Is the thing? There is actually a law.
That's all that matters. Is there should have been the play should have been stopped or called back. It wasn't, and as we have seen since even before the tournament began, when FIFA rescinded Cristiano Ronaldo's suspension, we no longer have any faith that FIFA are making correct decisions, and this is just another demonstration of it. So I think it was an understandable decision in itself if the referee missed it in real time and it wasn't called back. Fine. But when you add up the number of poor decisions over the course of the tournament, it is possible to mount a case that there is incompetence and or conspiracy afoot.
I don't mind poor decisions. I mean, the crux of it for me is I don't mind poor decisions when they're made by a human watching things in real time and making a decision in that moment. But when you add the VAR situation, you add snickometer and all the electronics in the ball, it shouldn't happen.
No.
So, and you're still having them. So just get rid of all that. What a waste of money. Just put it into the actual game.
And if FIFA just came out and said, "Oh yeah, hit the cable. Sorry, guys."
Totally.
Yeah.
And you can't tell people to believe something that is not true.
Imagine back in, I can't remember what season it was in the Premier League, if they said, "Oh no, it didn't hit a big red beach ball that was in front."
That's right.
They accepted, yes, that was an error. Sorry. Move on. Yeah. Like
there were 5 moments in this game. That was one of them. Obviously, the cable was a fairly huge thing. We also had the Norwegian goal that got ruled out after a push, and I think it's safe to say that Haaland definitely did push Elliot Anderson into the ground there. But they allowed play to go on. We were watching at the time. James and I were enjoying a light ale, enjoying that. And as the cross came in, said, "Well, that's never going to be given because he's just pushed him straight into the deck." But a bit harsh on those poor Norwegian fans who were celebrating a goal. And one of the things we don't like with VAR is that you can't celebrate goals anymore. You also then had the Kane being perhaps touched, and if that had been given as a free kick before the Norway goal, then you probably wouldn't have overturned it.
Referee
but I think that was a good decision.
Got it right, yeah.
Safe to say, yeah. Okay, 3 for 3 there. There was a push by Ezri Konsa, which didn't get replayed at all. But again, Konsa, who was very fortunate, we think, in an earlier game when it was against Ghana, not to concede perhaps even a red card, let alone a penalty. Jonathan nodding vociferously. You sort of feel agreed that maybe Konsa got lucky again?
Yeah, I think so. And the point about all of these things that you're raising is that's football. These things happen in football matches. But because of how VAR is implemented and because how single incidents are essentially re-refereed, we will come on to that soon with Spain, Switzerland. Sorry, Argentina, Switzerland. These take on greater significance. So, like the Haaland example, yes, he shoved Elliot Anderson. Corners are now lawless. So how referees are able to pick single incidents and almost always against the attacking team, never the defenders who just stand there like that, not watching the ball. If I was Erling Haaland, I'd just be walking around just shoving everyone.
Well, I mean, add on top of that the VAR situation with corner kicks. If a corner's awarded, it can be turned into a goal kick if the VAR decides it was wrong. But the reverse doesn't happen. If it was given as a goal kick, but it should be a corner, that doesn't check. How can you have it one way but not the other?
And then the fifth incident, which
That's right. Yeah. Well, the reason being is that those 4 went against Norway, and then there was one that went against England, which for me was the most baffling of all. Is that as Jed Spence did what every attacker's been taught to do for more than 100 years, get in front of the defender and then incur. If there's contact, you're going down, you're in the box. It was about as cast iron penalty as you're going to be likely to see.
And what this highlights, and this is the big issue with IFAB for the last, how long have they been doing this? 10, 15 years of tinkering unnecessarily with the laws of the game. They don't understand how football is actually played. You can't. What Jed Spence did has been done for 150 years. It's like
he did it really well.
He did. It's like the handball law.
I mean, personally, I'm not. It's one of those things where I'm glad it wasn't given, to be honest, because I think if you've lost control of the ball.
But he hadn't lost control.
No, I agree with that. But if that type of thing's not given, as it wasn't, then Leicester City don't win the Premier League.
Oh, sure.
I was annoyed me so much watching Jamie Vardy jump in front of defenders just because he was slightly rather than, and he's so far away from the ball. Jed Spence, he was in control of the ball, and those are given. We've seen them given. We've seen them given in this tournament. We've seen them given all season long.
And the crucial thing about it is the on-field referee who sees everything in full time, broadly makes good decisions. Gave it as a penalty. It was a footballing incident that's always a penalty, and then it's re-refereed by VAR. That does not meet the threshold for a clear and obvious error.
If there's no contact, it's a clear and obvious error. But the clear and obvious error wording has been taken out of the review process.
Is every single incident in a game now worthy of being
apparently?
I think the thing that was frustrating,
if they can be bothered,
frustrating for me is that we always want to see some level of consistency, and I don't think it's too much to ask that in consecutive games. Let's cast our mind as far back as the Mexico game when Harry Kane cleared the ball, and the Mexican fella put his leg in front of Harry Kane, who then got a kick. And that was awarded a penalty the other way, but wasn't given by the referee on the field. It was then gone to VAR, and so a player has been kicked. Okay, fine, so that is a penalty. Well, no, on this occasion, another player's put his leg in front of a defender. Defender's gone through him, given as a penalty. No, we'll overturn that one as well. Yeah. All 4 of those decisions don't add up at any point, and it's very, very strange, very, very frustrating for anyone trying to watch to understand what on earth a game of football is.
And the point that James made, just get rid of it all.
Yeah, abolition now. Abolition now. Abolition now. That's the way.
Give the referee total control. He will make mistakes, or she will make mistakes. That's football. The players make mistakes. The coaches make mistakes. And the message should be, deal with it. Be better fans. Be a better football community and accept that mistakes happen.
Let's get on to another refereeing decision. Argentina overcame Switzerland in extra time. Switzerland came back brilliantly into this game. They were on top. The momentum was completely with them. And then an incident happened, Brillambolo. Jonathan, talk us through this one, because for me, this was an incident not just brewing within this game, but over the course of the tournament. Yeah. And the fact was, yes, you dive. That's probably a yellow card. You probably do get sent off if you've already had a yellow card. But that's not the full story, is it?
No, I mean, the nuts and bolts of it are Brillambolo was booked already for a warranted yellow card. He came in late, so he's on a booking. But then there's an incident where he spins away from an Argentinian defender, goes to ground, and the Argentinian defender is booked. VAR is then entitled to look at that incident because there's a yellow card issued. The yellow card, the review is under the misnomer of
mistaken identity.
Yeah,
bizarre.
How bad do they think their World Cup accredited referees are?
It's a ludicrous,
to get that one wrong.
Ludicrous use of language. And then, as part of that VAR review, it's quite obvious that Brillambolo dived, and therefore the yellow card should be rescinded to the Argentinian defender and administered to the Swiss player, who, with it being his second yellow card, gets sent off. The whole thing is an absolute farce. It wasn't a case of mistaken identity. The referee just made a wrong decision that doesn't need to be re-refereed in real time over and over again. And it changed that. I mean, that was the game. The game ended in that moment, really.
And obviously, hugely understandable emotional reaction from Mbolo, who may have done slightly wrong in the moment.
Yeah.
But in a tournament where we've spent, certainly I've sort of felt like the last 2 weeks we've been saying, where are the yellow cards? We've seen Paraguay, we've seen Argentina themselves have been going very light on the yellow cards, and suddenly there seem to be some very consequential ones.
And it was one of those matches where Argentina were doing Argentinian things. They were, as you pointed out on the show a few days ago, they have the highest fouls per yellow card rate in the tournament. And this was another example of, why would you give that one and not the 15 that you haven't given? Where was the early yellow card to establish control of the match? And then they give that one, which becomes so enormously consequential.
I mean, the other thing for the whole was the aftermath of the Swiss players being absolutely baffled by it. Which, as I say, I want to see VAR gone. If you're going to make errors, what's the point in it? But the whole monitor situation for the referees, if they'd put that up on the big screen and the other Swiss players could have seen the incident themselves, they'd have accepted it straight away. Like, you can't complain, but they can't see that, so they're riled up. They get more emotional about it unnecessarily.
But their complaint, and this is what Murat Yakin and the players talk about afterwards, is their complaint is that the Argentinian defender was given a yellow card. The complaint isn't that Mbolo was sent off.
No.
It was that the referee shouldn't have been invited to the monitor because he shouldn't have booked the Argentinian player to begin with. I mean, that's crazy. What an absolutely ludicrous chain of events.
What world are we in? And as the game went on, it did seem like it was just going to be edging towards penalties and that Switzerland had probably done enough. Just until Julian Alvarez with an extraordinary strike. Absolutely fabulous goal. I wonder whether he's perhaps struggling to get the spotlight. He would be, I feel, a hero in that team were it not for a certain diminutive number 10 playing every minute of every game, understandably so. But he's a superstar to only be kind of playing a bit part role.
The thing is, he absolutely is being overshadowed. But I would argue it's up to him to go and grab that spotlight. It's up to him to go and do something special like he's done in this game, to go say, look at me, I'm just as dangerous as him, if not more dangerous, because I've still got some running in my legs. And he hadn't done that to this point. He'd allowed or hadn't been able to, or maybe as a bit of a messaging of, go to Messi, I'll do my job. Guys who are going to score goals need to be selfish, and they need to have that in themselves to go against necessarily instructions and pull out brilliant bits of magic. So maybe this is a lesson for him to say, yeah, all right, he is the GOAT and he is fantastic. He's been great for Argentina, but you know what? This is my team, not his. I'm this era that's going to go win this World Cup trophy as much as he's going to help us.
Well, maybe that's what's going to happen in the semi-finals. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes where we'll be previewing those two games. You're watching the Unbeaten World Cup Show. Welcome back. It is semi-final time. France are playing Spain and England are playing Argentina. The top 4 sides in the world are squaring off in the semi-finals for the first time ever. There is a key reason for that, and that's because, gentlemen, FIFA somewhat seeded the draws this year. Hopefully, I would guess that FIFA will be pretty happy because it's gone how they sort of presumably wanted it to go. The idea was that if those 4 sides in the world were successful in winning their groups, they would be kept separate until this very moment. Sort of feel that that's been a good thing, and will FIFA be happy, Jonathan?
FIFA will be happy. I don't know about anybody else, but yes. I think in defence of the organisation on this occasion, they probably couldn't have predicted how the round of 32 and round of 16 would have come together, and the dominance of Europe at this tournament. So if you look on the France-Spain side of the draw, the Netherlands, Portugal would have absolutely Morocco, USA, but they would have all definitely expected to get much further, and probably would have if they were on the opposite side of the draw. Brazil were knocked out by
Norway.
A middling European team. Mexico were with home ground advantage were probably got as far as you might have predicted pre-tournament, but they could have changed things a little bit. Colombia weren't as good as we perhaps thought they were. Uruguay definitely weren't. So once you kind of filter all of that through how the knockout rounds go, England and Argentina they're there by default, really.
Kind of got there by being ranked well in the world, but also for winning their group. You still had to win your group in order to make the most of it, so perhaps there's an incentive there for those top teams to finish their group well. Let's get into France versus Spain, James. An absolute classic, surely, at this moment. We've got a Spain side who barely concede goals, although they did concede one this weekend, and a France side who are unstoppable, surely, going forwards.
Yeah, I mean, do you know, if there's a team that probably can stop them, it probably is Spain, just by not allowing France to have the ball. It was interesting to see Spain mix it up in their last game and start doing, more cross-field balls and be a bit more front foot rather than necessarily just waiting for the defence to open a gap for them to play through. I think it suits the players they have available and the players they have fit and available. It's hard to see this French team being beaten. Spain are not going to have possession 100% of the time. France are just very, very good. It's really hard to see it going another way, but it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me. As much as that feels like I'm sitting on the fence, I wouldn't be shocked if Spain won.
Sitting on the fence is fine.
So I spoke to our French correspondent, Francois, earlier, who was saying that actually, you know what, Spain, they've beaten France twice in the last couple of years, including, of course, in the semi-finals of the Euros. He feels like they've had France's number, but that for this French side, they've probably got Spain on a bit of a pedestal and feel like this is the level that we've got to get to and exceed if we are to win a World Cup. So there's a real mission there for Deschamps.
Timing is everything, and a lot changes in a couple of years, and a lot has changed, not necessarily with the personnel, but with the standard some of them are sitting at this current time in the world.
Spain also, well, maybe we've seen these incredible Spain sides over the years. This is a very good one. In fact, it's got the record for the longest unbeaten run of any Spain side in history. So they've clearly put together, they're a hell of a unit, aren't they?
It's brilliant. I mean, it's what a World Cup semi-final should be.
Yep.
Two teams that I'd have no problem with either of those teams winning the World Cup and calling themselves the best team in the world.
Absolutely.
Right now, France go in slight favourites. And I think they've got better problem solvers. They've got more options if things aren't going their way. But I can absolutely see Spain just... My one concern with France is Upamecano. And France have got away with not worrying about the midfield. They've only got two midfielders, at least there's a fourth forward. They've got two midfielders. One of those is Adrien Rabiot, and alongside him will either be Kone or Tchouaméni. I can see if Spain click with that dynamic, short-passing midfield combination, I can see them bypassing that midfield and dragging Upamecano forward out of where he wants to be. I think that could be a problem for France. But on the counter, they've got just the most extravagant forward line I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't think Spain ever really overcommit as much as their backline does get involved in the play further up, they never seem like they become stretched and they're necessarily going to be caught behind.
Yeah. And if there's one team that you would fancy, or one player that you would fancy to neutralise Elise, it's Rodri.
Yeah.
And also force Elise in the other direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mbappe's an interesting one, isn't he, in the context of this game? Perhaps Spanish fans there will have seen him this season and feel like he hasn't necessarily shone. Point to prove, maybe?
I think he's had a point to prove all World Cup. I've not seen him this motivated and taking the game on since maybe the 2018 World Cup, when he was completely
unplayable.
Unplayable, but new to international football and fearless. It seems to me like he knows he's got a beast mode switch, and 3 or 4 times a game he's activating it. I think we'll see that again against Spain.
Now Dembele's joined the fold in this kind of, being a massive threat. We was very quiet early on. Mbappe will step up again.
I suspect we've probably got a sense with both France and Spain as well. They've been absolutely brilliant in their own ways, but they almost have another gear or two. They might just go up. This could be a real classic. We could just see each team's just suddenly finding that next level and trying to outdo each other, and we hope that that's the case. The other semi-final now, gents. Argentina versus England. Just a light dose of history for this one. Again, not maybe
and
the most
current,
representative.
depending on how political you want to get.
I will say that this is very rare sense for us, I would say, because it's not often that England have the world behind them. It's not often that actually the rest of the world are looking at England and going, OK, well, you're sort of the lesser of two evils. We'd rather see you over the narrative that's built. I think the narrative around Argentina is sort of pushing people against them, perhaps, which is rare. My fear is that this travel that England have done, and I think that the state of the squad now is really going to be in bits. They've played this incredible game at altitude, as we know, against Mexico. Another 120 minutes in the legs. We've seen Declan Rice was sick, not fit, and all the rest of it. But just a moment on the travel there, because I'd love to get your reaction to this. So far in this tournament, France have travelled 3,400 miles. Argentina have travelled 6,300 miles. Spain... This is 8,900 miles. England have travelled 12,800 miles.
It's a fix.
Nearly 4 times as much as France. 3 times more than that.
That's because FIFA wants Messi to win the World Cup.
So England have had to go all the way around the plane. There is a point there, perhaps. Do they get the same time training? Do they get the same recovery time? How do you, the demands of travel are extensive, and that's, I suspect. You can start to see the legs in this England squad.
You absolutely can. I think the point that you raise is a legitimate one. I think the bigger issue is just how many of England's key players have had long seasons.
That's right.
Declan Rice just isn't the player that he was for Arsenal. Bukayo Saka isn't the player he was for Arsenal. And then you add on top of that 1 or 2 minor knocks or 1 or 2 drops in form, and suddenly the team that Tuchel built ahead of this World Cup just isn't what's going to play against Argentina. And I think this will be a defining game for him as a coach, because he won't be able to play his best 11. He will have to play whatever he thinks just gets them over the line against Argentina in that standalone encounter. And I'm fascinated by who he ends up picking.
His post-match comments are worth just returning to, James. Thomas Tuchel saying, "I'm not happy with the performance." He conceded, and quite rightly so. "I'm impressed with the effort, team spirit and belief to overcome adversity, but I'm also a football coach. I think we can play better. A lot of technical mistakes. We weren't fast enough. We weren't repetitive enough." That's pretty strong, and that was put to Jude Bellingham after the game, who said, "Well, that's all well and good. It's quite tough playing these teams, you know." It was pretty much threw it back in his face, which is, again, fair enough in that moment. But do you think Tuchel's sort of right to be demanding those levels? And
I think he has to. I mean, that's a coach's job, and he's probably done the carrot, and now he's having a go at the stick. You can't. He talks about not being repetitive enough in the play, but he can't be repetitive with his message, because otherwise it will all fall flat. So, and I really like. I mean, I'm going to echo Roy Keane on another program, but he said having that tension in the dressing room between a player like Bellingham and your coach is good. It's really good to have that tension. I mean, as much as Bellingham probably treated it like a guy in his early 20s with the whatever and what have you, but like it might be it's going to be hard to hear in the first 10 minutes after a game, but hopefully use that to lift another level.
What do you think? Sorry, do you want to go on?
Yeah, no. Can I just jump in as well on Tuchel's criticism of how England played? That was his responsibility. That was his fault.
Oh, yeah.
Declan Rice shouldn't have started.
No.
Eberechi should not have been the half-time substitute to replace Declan Rice and push Jude Bellingham back. Reece James, a half-fit right-back, should not have been the solution to playing Bellingham too deep and Eberechi further up, and starting Noni Madueke, who is on course. Again. He is on course to become the worst ever World Cup winner.
Maybe the worst semi-finalist already. He's already there, unspeakably
And
bad.
all of this, like we've been saying it for the first 5 games, England have quite a good midfielder who can keep the ball on the bench. And it absolutely blows my mind that Kobe Mainoo didn't start, let alone come on at all of those 3 opportunities. And then the coach blames how the team played afterwards.
Yeah. Well, so what do you think it is that he's looking for? Is it, as was put, that he was particularly annoyed about the Norway game because they play this very tight back 4. So there were the space there for Gordon and Madueke, who hug the touchline to get the ball to them, play those triangles, get in behind and then cut the ball back. And neither of them were able to do that. Is that the sole extent? He talks a lot about short, long. There were some long field passes, but England just were. I
didn't feel anyone was making those long passes. I mean, Rice is the key guy to make them, and he's not fit. So,
and they also rely on the fullbacks.
Yeah.
And Ezri Konsa isn't a natural right fullback. He has done, coped there admirably. Noni Madueke's, Zlatan Ibrahimovic absolutely eviscerated him on US TV.
I like to think we got there first.
England.
I think from show 1, I think.
And then on the left, coming into the tournament, I would have said that Nico O'Reilly was one of England's best 4 or 5 players. And either individually he's not performed, or structurally it hasn't worked with him underlapping and becoming that extra midfielder to create those triangles. So Gordon and whoever's played on the right have been isolated.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of Tuchel, it was when Jed Spence came on. I mean, I've not been Spence's greatest admirer, but it was the first substitution of the game that I supported, and Spence delivered. It was the first. I think it was the first substitution I've felt Tuchel's made that hasn't changed England's shape completely. It's just been like for like. He's a better defender, so I'll put him in the defensive, and then he produced a decent attacking
He did exactly
display.
what he wants them to do. Is get into the byline, get past the defender, use your strength and your pace, which is, Spence the quickest player in the squad. This is what he wants to see. He wants to see England play with pace, and again, that's where I worry about the legs. If the legs go, is there enough pace in that team?
The counter to that is, of all that criticism of Tuchel that we've just done, he did keep making changes. He didn't. No, he did. He didn't. At half-time, he acknowledged he got the first half wrong. Every inability to bring on Kobe Mainoo, he did keep trying to bring somebody else on instead, which is better than not.
I can only think the thing with Mainoo is this idea, which makes it weird that he took him. We've talked about Tuchel not taking players just because of their name or just because of their club. He's built a squad of players, and Mainoo didn't feature in England for quite a chunk when he wasn't playing at Man United, and Man United weren't necessarily playing well. So, because he's only featured recently, he doesn't feel he's got his message across, or he has ended up naming him because he had to. That's the only reason I can think he's not using him.
You wonder why you don't take him. Why on earth do you think of? It's bad on Kobe Mainoo. What's Adam Wharton currently thinking? Who's one of the star players? Mainoo there and Ivan Toney, 2 of only 4 players in this World Cup still in it that have not played a single minute. And you do wonder why when you look at that potential for fatigue in the England side. We are going to be back in just a couple of minutes. James, I want to get your take on all of our quarter-finalists on the Vibes board. You're watching the Unbeaten World Cup Show. I'm looking over at the Vibes board because, James, I want to know how the remaining teams are feeling. And we've talked a bit about the football. Let's plot a path on your Vibes board as to how these last 4 contenders are sitting at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's first of all, obviously, you reach a World Cup semi-final, you're happy. Generally, I'd say all 4 teams that have made it through should be happy. When it comes to the happiest, I mean, just going through the quarterfinals, obviously I've got to lose 4 teams. France stay exactly where they are, partly because they can't move any further. Maybe I went a little bit early, but they're staying exactly where they were. Morocco, I think they should be happier than they will be. They would have wanted to go further. They went out to a very good team.
Didn't really show up though, did they?
Didn't really show up. I think they, there's like, kind of throw away, you get a little bit in your heads about your opposition. I think they showed too much respect to France. Maybe they would have lost by more considering what we're seeing from France, but I would have liked to see them go at them and put France on the back
There was
foot.
a point their vibes were right up there with France before they unfortunately exited the tournament.
Yes.
But such is life, I suppose. It is Spain and Portugal. Spain beat Portugal 1-0. Big Iberian rivals, so Portugal presumably feeling a bit flat about that.
Yes, Portugal are flat. I mean,
Spain.
I don't think they've turned up all tournaments, to be honest, Portugal. Spain, they're growing. They are growing. Football's getting better. They'll still think they've got more in the tank. I might just readjust once we get down to the 4. But, the football's definitely getting better. When it comes to Norway, England, I think we saw good football from both teams in both areas. A draw.
Tough. I mean, we didn't really speak too much about this. This was one of the hottest games in World Cup history. The only game I think that was hotter was in the last World Cup in the US. Hence the sort of the slow nature of the game and perhaps being a bit harsh. But you've got England in your hands there, and we talk about a team being happy to make a World Cup semi-final. Their managers said, "I'm not happy." So how are you judging these vibes? It's really hard to read.
I mean, I take into account what I see on social media, what the fans are doing, are they getting behind their teams, how the players are reacting, how they're leaving the field. I mean, it's hard to say that England don't leave the field every time they win in really good spirits after their big sing-along with Wonderwall. And, I mean, a different song, please, guys. There is more than one.
No, I think we might fall out
band.
there.
I mean, we've seen. I've been wearing my Oasis shirt on the show, but come on, something else that everyone knows the words to. England have obviously won. It would have been a very fair result and a draw if such a thing exists, but there's room for improvement. Norway finished the tournament exactly where England are, just one advances and one doesn't. Simple as.
Fair. There was very little to separate them on the day. That's a fair shout. So it leaves us with Argentina and Switzerland there.
Oh, I should have.
I wonder if
nipped Belgium in the bud.
Poor old Belgium there. We'll see you later. Argentina and Switzerland again. Nothing could separate them in normal time.
No,
but I suspect they're in very different places emotionally today.
Do you know when it comes a half time? No, not half time. Sorry, probably around because Argentina were in the centres. But just before that red card, I would. That's where they would have. That's where they would have sat.
Yep.
They've just got back in the game. They're on the ascendancy. They're looking really good. They're doing what I've kind of wanted teams to do against Argentina, which is really go at them, really put pressure on them, say to them, no, we're the top dogs. You're not the top dogs. We're not scared of you. What I would have liked to see Morocco do to France because they had the ability to. So that's where they were after the equaliser when the red card came down. Probably not when the red card, just before they saw the red card come down, sorry. Then the red card came. We saw on the monitors, Switzerland's vibe should have absolutely plummeted because being sent off for diving, come on, simulation, sorry.
In a World Cup where nobody's getting booked.
It's absolutely disgraceful. But look, take that out of the equation. The fact they went toe-to-toe with Argentina, were only beaten in extra time. Their vibe should be good. They're probably going to finish where I had them before the game. They've done really well to get. They're a very good team. We shouldn't be surprised. I think the Swiss are potentially more surprised than anyone, but anybody looking in from outside is thinking, yeah, they are a good team.
Yeah, I think with Switzerland and Norway, that's the best Swiss performance for 70 years in a World Cup. Both countries, I'm sure the overriding emotion is going to be pride, and rightly so. So Argentina then, where are they going into the semi-finals? Where do they sit for vibes?
For me, vibes should be high because I think the football we're seeing on display is not as good as the rest, but they're finding ways. And I've decided today my barometer for football is playing nicely. So, if I reassess all of these guys are getting, England popped down, their vibes are high, Spain vibes getting there. Argentina are probably playing the worst football of the 4 we've got.
Very good. Vibes in action there. I like the reset. James, thank you very much. That's great. We have coming up for you on the Unbeaten World Cup show a very sexy surprise. You want to stick with us? We'll see you in a couple of minutes. This is the Unbeaten World Cup show. We have said au revoir to Jonathan. We welcome Cody. Good to have you with us.
Hello.
We promised you a sexy surprise, and I really should stop using the word sexy on television. But here he is. This is a survey, believe it or not. We have Cody, the king of the lists, hot on the heels of your doing the Sesame Street 11 for us the other day. We're going to go. We've got something. You've got something for us. And there was a survey conducted around the FIFA World Cup 2026 for the most attractive players. And the experts have compiled their list based on symmetry of appearance and overall attractiveness. And they peeled off a top 6, which I'll read out. And I don't think we did the job well enough. But their top 6 was in 6th place, Son Heung-min, which to be fair, I like that. Love a bit of Sonny, lovely. Number 5 was Endrick, the Brazilian. 4 was Mo Salah. 3 was Nono Madueke, who has done nothing on the field this pitch, so nice to know that he's contributing something. 2 was Kai Havertz, which I think is where, as a team, we started. Yes, I think that sort of facial expression is about where we landed with that one. And number 1, fair enough perhaps, was Rodrigo de Paul from Argentina as the most attractive player in the World Cup. However, Cody, you weren't going to take that lying down.
No, of course not.
You said, no, this is not. We've got a good team here at Unbeaten. They know their footballers and they know what's sexy. I'm going to have to stop using that word. So you've come up with our own official unbeaten list of the most attractive players at the World Cup. Please take it away.
Not just me though. A few of the cracking staff here have helped out. We've gone through the list. We've figured it out. I have a top 10 of the hottest football players at this World Cup.
I think the will to live has just escaped James in that moment, but that's fine.
Come on, I know you're flustered. But regain yourself. Come on, it's not going to be that bad. Now, number 10. First off, it has to be someone playing at the World Cup this year.
Yes.
Can't be anyone excluded there. Number 10. It's a classic, somewhat debatable, but I think everyone can kind of agree with this one. Cristiano Ronaldo. Very clearly an attractive guy. Maybe a little bit older now. Honestly, probably a bit too tanned and spiky gel, but that's always been his look. So it's not surprising that he makes the list. It's probably the only thing he's really better at than Messi. That's the only list he's going to beat, in my opinion.
So Messi's not in the 10?
Messi is not in the 10.
Spoiler, okay.
Messi would be a very good boyfriend, I think. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But we're looking at hotties.
Sure. Okay.
We're looking at the people that make your mouth water. That make me go, oh, this guy, oh my goodness.
The World Cup baddies.
Yes. Number 9, a rising star in the baddies space. Lucas Bergvall. Kind of got that traditional
lovely
Swedish
Lucius.
look.
Yes, okay, now you're cooking.
I think, he'll be someone in the future that I think a lot of people on Instagram will be following.
Is that a nose piercing, or is he just wearing too much moisturiser?
Could potentially.
He was quite shiny. They're all quite shiny, the men. Let's. Okay, so like Lucius, how are we feeling? 8.
Number 8. So he was on the previous list. He comes on this list. Mo Salah. I think he's just got daddy vibes. You know what I mean?
I cannot argue with that. There is a dignified beauty to Mo Salah. I agree.
I think if you saw that guy come up to you and hit on you, you'd be like,
stop.
Whoa.
Okay. Yes, we might need to move along. Go on.
James is loving this conversation. Number 7. When this list came out, I was quite surprised he wasn't on the list. I think that's what got the conversation going. Martin Odegaard. I think if you look at him,
What a smile.
he's got a good smile. He's probably not.
He looks like a child.
So you're almost as angry as when Cody didn't put Mr. Snuffleupagus in
Yes,
goal.
yes.
Okay,
Mr. Snuffleupagus is a type of sesame. He's not.
Okay, oh dear. All right, let's crack along there. Number 6, who do we have?
Number 6. So he actually makes a return at the same spot. Son Heung-min.
Oh, Sonny.
He's such a
lovely
cutie.
Sonny.
You know, like probably
There's nothing better.
probably could have gone up higher if he was a bit more baddie, but he's definitely a cutie.
He's just a good.
He's a
human
good
being.
guy. You would love to go on a dinner with him. He'd cuddle you. He'd
nothing
take you
better.
out to the movie. He'd constantly ask you what's going on. Are you doing okay? I just feel like you'd be safe in his arms.
Love it.
Number 5, he's had a bad World Cup, but he's still making our list. It's Noni Madueke. Look at that smile. That's a brilliant smile. I think that's and like, to be fair, that's a very thirst trap sort of image. I don't know if you two guys know what a thirst trap is.
Regrettably, I do. And I feel that we need to move along to number 4.
So this guy could be high. He benefits from having a beard occasionally, which I think makes him look better. As a man who looks better with a beard, in my opinion, I think he should wear it more. It's Christian Pulisic. Now, I know he finished the World Cup badly, but that doesn't mean he's not a baddie.
Actually, yeah, I think he's broken his leg, or there's a fracture or something in his foot,
Yeah.
so when the sort of says bad. But that's nice. He's still, absolutely
It's a
dashing.
hairline fracture.
Totally
Barely counts.
dashing. Absolutely, I like this.
Exactly.
It's going to be a very strong final 3 if this is
Strong
the caliber
final
of
3 and a very
Can we do it
final
quickly
three.
and get back to the football?
We are on football. What are you talking about? Number 3, a classic Australian hunk, Jackson Irvine.
Oh,
I've
wow,
had a
strong.
lot of women talk to me about this guy who don't follow football because he just pops up. He's got the tattoos. He's quite progressive. I think his story being over in Germany with St. Pauli kind of branches him out. I think he's just got a lot that women clearly love, and a lot of women love Australian accents. If you're not Australian yourself, you love an Australian accent, in my opinion, at least from what I've seen.
Yeah, that's true. You may have skin in the game there, to be honest, but I'll pay for that. And he's certainly a
Such
very
generic.
Australian-looking character. Very good. Yes, we don't mind a bit of Jacko.
No. Number 2, Rodrigo de Paul.
Oh, yes, okay. So
He did-
number 1 from the.
He did top
good,
the
yeah.
list, but in my opinion,
Gosh, how long did you spend looking for these images?
not long.
He has a beard, he has tattoos, so he ticks the same boxes as Jackson Irvine. He just doesn't have really long blonde hair and a mustache.
I think it's also a bit of a different swagger as well. You know, Jackson's quite progressive. I feel like he's giving more like Jackson's giving more sort of inner rock band vibe.
I spent
He's-
too much time at the hairdressers.
yeah, he's giving more I'm a DJ and I'm just traveling around the world vibe, I think, as a badge.
Shave my head quickly and
Yeah,
get on with
So
it.
here we are,
Yeah.
the big moment. We've
Number
come to this. We've spent obviously a long time on this list. We've got a number
Too
1.
long.
Good. We have a number 1 for the ultimate World Cup baddie 2026.
Yep. And you two are going to love it.
Of course.
You're giving it to
already
Holland,
did.
aren't you?
No.
That's interesting. Just before you get to 1, Holland's are really good at because there is a movement. There is a movement from women around Erling Haaland, which men tend not to understand. But I kind of get the idea that he's a bit goofy, he's a bit fun, his smile's lovely, he's again
I don't
caring.
know, I don't
He was there
generalise.
He was signing autographs for young kids after the game yesterday, hours after the game had finished.
Yeah.
He's just a lovely,
He's a
lovely
good
man.
egg. He's a
So
good egg.
good. Maybe for nice men, if that was the list, he'd be
Yep.
higher. But it's not. It's baddies. It's
Yep.
hot men. Take it away.
So at number 1, it's come home. It's a British baddie. It's Jude Bellingham.
Oh.
I think, look at him. What a specimen. I think he's going to be a baddie for a long time. I don't see anything.
He's way too manicured.
Way too manicured.
That's to
You
your
heard
taste,
it
I
here
think.
first from James.
There you
Way
go.
too manicured.
Very nice. And what a great list. Thank you, Cody.
Thank you so
and
much.
to the Unbeaten team who have given so much of their energies into discussing that. Brilliant. Jude Bellingham, the hottest player at the 2026 World Cup. We look forward, we've still got a few days left, so we're looking forward to some more lists. If you would like to recommend a list for our team to research and present for you, send us an email there, worldcup@unbeaten.com. Hit us up on the Instagram. We'll maybe do a gallery of those later for you. That's at Unbeaten Sport.
Please let it be football related.
Thank you.
Please don't let it be football.
No, that's right. There you go. You decide. You decide. That's the beauty. Brilliant. Great list. Coming back, we have loads and loads of news to get through ahead of the semi-finals. You are watching the Unbeaten World Cup Show. Welcome back to the Unbeaten World Cup Show. Coming up this week on Unbeaten, it's a huge week, absolutely brilliant week we've got. Stick with us all week long. We are over in China for the magnificent Tour of Shanghai, one of the most beautiful events we have on the channel. Great cycling there. There's awesome baseball Tuesday evening, any CBL. North Shore at Upper Valley from 6:30, and then from 8:30 there's one of the highlights of the sporting year on Unbeaten as the AA PB have their All-Star game, the All-Star game in the American Association of Baseball there. It's an absolute belter. You're going to love that. We then have on Wednesday the International Brawling Championships. Cody, this you know all about this. It's going to be an epic evening. Morning, perhaps, evening where we are here. Tell us all about it.
So it's Isaac Hardman taking on Mikey Valatua, IBC4. If you haven't watched it, do yourself a treat and watch it. These guys are tough as nails. It's all about aggressive striking. There is no real counter-striking or defensive strategies. You're going straight to it. If you're a fan of like Max Holloway, in the middle, let's fight, let's break it down, perfect for you. We've also got Corbin Mitter, a high-rising star from New Zealand, and there's heavyweights there as well. It will give you a brilliant fight, I'm sure. You don't want to miss this. If you're a combat sports fan, this is for you.
Awesome stuff. Yes, all brawling, toe-to-toe in the diamond.
So it is total, it's not. We're not going to see any like Embolo style moves.
There's not going to be there's no throwing yourself to the floor here. Brilliant stuff. Get around that. What have we got? News desk. Lots of things happening over the course of this week. James, I'd love your take on Gianni Infantino, or as he's somewhat being called, Sycophantino, who has started discussion or started a debate about turning this World Cup, which has just become 48 teams, into a 64-team tournament. How are you feeling?
How are you going to host it? What's the point? What's the point of qualifying? Just hold it over the course of the entire year and have two teams come to meet in that's just an extension of the Champions League. Let this one finish first.
I think so.
We've ended up with the top 4 seeds being in the last 4, which makes me go, well, what was the point of all the rest of it? And I just don't see. It's supposed to be the final step of all of World Cup qualifying. I mean, who's going to host it?
Yeah, and it's reeking really of Cabo Verde and Paraguay. You know, these 3 seeds. They've had these amazing stories, and it's almost like they really want to capitalize on it to see if they can make more of that. I think.
Yeah, look,
but you can without
you can
another 14 teams. I can't even remember.
I've been quite impressed with the 48-team tournament. For me, I had expected there to be a real stodginess for a couple of weeks of group stage games, and actually the games were fantastic. And I think the stories there, as you say, the stories around Curacao and Cape Verde and everybody, and we're real positives. And perhaps now at this latter stage, it's easy to forget. But I feel like it was quite a success for that 48-team tournament, a big step up. But maybe have a couple of these first. Don't talk about 64 now, although it would be very entertaining and hilarious for most of the rest of the world if there was a 64-team tournament and Italy still didn't qualify. Perhaps in there.
And Shakira still turns up.
Oh, Shakira will be there anyway. She's a lock-in. Don't worry about her. Great. So Dan Burn, we've spoken a bit about England, but I just want to celebrate a true hero of the game. Dan Burn has so far played 24 minutes of this tournament. His tournament stats are 9 clearances and 2 blocks in that time.
Not bad.
What a guy.
Yeah.
What a guy. That's what you want, isn't it? And you've got Leo Messi running rings around people over here and all the glamour side of things. Dan Burn, he's our man.
I mean, sometimes you just need to do your role.
Just
That's
understand your role, be very large and get in the way.
It's his job.
Be very good. Talking people's jobs, one person refusing to get swept up in a crowd. We all have enjoyed Norway's Viking row. The entire crowd, even the team go onto the field. Everybody participates in the Viking row with the exception of one man. One man has said, no, I'm not doing it. And he sits there with his arms crossed and saying, no, I don't. I just find it really stupid, said the fun-seeking man. It is annoying. I didn't want to do it. It's factually wrong. They didn't row. They sailed across.
They sailed, but they still needed all. I mean, that's how the old ships from just 1,000 years ago worked. You had to row in close quarters in the port, and if there was no wind, you just sat there and let the currents. Well, he needs to get educated as well then.
Yeah. I mean,
probably just enjoy yourself, mate. You're at the World Cup. It's okay to have a little bit of fun.
I would say he'd be fun at a party, but I don't think he's getting invited to any parties.
No, you wouldn't. Everyone's participating.
I will go hang out with him.
Very nice. Well, I was a big fan this weekend. I did happen to see one of our great partners on Unbeaten is World Rowing. You can see all the World Rowing Cups. The European Championships are coming up as well. World Championships at in August too. I was very impressed with them, saying we are the original Viking row. If you want to do a spot of rowing, come and see us at World Rowing, and you can do that just on Unbeaten. Fantastic, gentlemen. It's been a thrill. Thank you, Cody, for your fantastic list. Thank you, Jonathan, beforehand. James, as always. Exciting now. We are down to the last 4 teams, the last 4 games. We're going to be back with you to take you through that action. Send us your lists. Send us your questions. Great to have you, gentlemen, with us. I look forward to seeing you soon. You're watching the Unbeaten World Cup Show.